It's my YEL 2.0 podcast. I felt like this topic was so important, I wanted to record it, give this out to you guys. It won't be released for a couple more weeks on my podcast, but anytime I can add value to my YouTube subscribers and anyone else watching this, I can. So you'll see behind the scenes. I'm one take too. Welcome, this is Peter Voogd, and I'm excited about this topic, and it's probably, to be honest, one of the most important topics that we've covered in the last 3 or 4 years. I'm really gonna dive into something that most people don't talk about, that I've been obsessed with the last couple years. Actually, the last year the most as I get older. And I wanna thank you again for listening to the YEL 2.0 podcast. So shout out to all you hustlers, you game changers, you entrepreneurs, and you go-getters that are looking to better their life and make their dreams a reality. So much respect. I want to talk about today the power of regret and how to lower regret so you don't have any as you grow older, because there's nothing worse than looking in someone's eyes and seeing regret. And this last 6 months, I've just been in multiple situations where I've seen people's eyes that have regret, and it saddens me, and I want to make sure if I have power, if I have influence, I want to use it wisely to make sure you lower your regret. And I'll tell you this, if you want to see the power of regret in action, go watch a documentary of someone who blew it all. Go watch 30 by 30 of NFL players going broke. According to, I think it was 2009 Sports Illustrated article, 78% of National Football League players are either bankrupt or under financial stress within 2 years of retirement. Are you kidding? And an estimated 60% of all National Basketball Association players go bankrupt within 5 years after leaving their sport. Regret is massive and most people aren't talking about it. It's not a popular subject because most people are so focused on instant pleasure and doing things in the moment, they don't think about the long-term effects of the decisions they make today. I was watching The Defiant Ones with Dr. Dre, great documentary, and it talked about Doc he was the last member of NWA. His album in 1989, his solo album, No One Can Do It Better, was a breakout album, and he's been called a genius by Dr. Dre, by Jay-Z, and he was supposed to be one of the biggest artists of all time. Like, you won't believe if you watch this documentary how Dr. Dre and how Ice Cube talk about Doc. You can look it up online. But anyways, 1989 in November, 3 months after his album goes platinum and he crushes it. He gets shout outs from everybody in the industry at that time. Was supposed to be one of the biggest artists of all time. He decided to drive drunk in Beverly Hills and got in a car accident. By the way, he's also ghostwritten for Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and was doing a lot of other big things at the time. But he had a forever changing incident when he drove drunk and fell asleep at the wheel. It was November 1989. And he flew to the backseat of the car. I think when he woke up, he said that he had such severe injuries that he woke up without teeth and he couldn't even speak. And what happened is it damaged his vocal cords and he couldn't speak regular anymore. So his voice was done. He couldn't even talk. And at that moment, hearing everyone talk about how successful he was going to be and that one decision he made to drive drunk in the middle of the night and fall asleep ruined his entire life. He still to this day has regret in his eyes. I can see it. They asked him about certain things and he was just silent for 30 seconds and thinking, what if? What if I didn't make that stupid decision that one night? And it just got me thinking about regret, and there's nothing worse than looking in someone's eyes. You want to see the power of regret? Go watch the Lenny Cook documentary. The Lenny Cook documentary. He was the most hyped player in all of high school basketball ever, and in the country at his time, ranked above LeBron James, Amari Stoudemire, and Carmelo Anthony. A decade later, he has not played 1 minute in the NBA. And once again, people still know him. LeBron James and Carmelo still talk about how good he was in high school. But because of some bad decisions that will haunt him forever, He never made it to the NBA. Now he's struggling, overweight, and broke. And I'll tell you, once again, when you look in his eyes, you can tell he has that what if. What if I didn't make the wrong decisions? What if I had a better circle of influence? What if I would have listened to the mentors and wasn't a hothead thinking I knew what's best for me when I was 17? Here's the scary thing. Regret does not happen overnight. Okay? It doesn't even happen in a week. It's a series of bad decisions and a focus on instant pleasure without any knowledge or thought of the consequences. Okay? So I'm just gonna give you 7 keys that I really have thought about. And this is not something I put together yesterday. These are the things I've been thinking about because I wanna be able to look in the mirror when I'm 70 or 80 and have no regrets. And know I did it my way, I lived a great life, I was fulfilled, I was happy, I traveled. And not only did I do it my way, I lived a life on my terms and I knew myself where I didn't care what others thought of me. I left a legacy for my family and for the people I care about. Number 1, I don't know where I heard this, but I heard it a couple months ago. It said, one of the biggest keys to having no regret is giving your all and not cutting corners. A lot of people cut so many corners, they don't even know they cut them anymore. And when you cut one corner, it's easy to cut corners in other areas of your life. How you do anything is how you do everything. So don't half-ass your work. Don't half-ass your videos that you make. Don't half-ass your book you're writing or your programs. Don't half-ass your speech. Don't half-ass raising your kids. Don't half-ass anything. And anything you do, give your absolute best. It sounds so cliche, but it doesn't matter how it sounds. The fact of the matter is 95% of people don't give their all. And if you don't give your all, regret's guaranteed. So give your all in whatever you're doing. The next thing, number 2, is be fully present in the moment. Be fully present in the moment. I remember coming up in business, I used to be working, wishing I was on vacation or at the beach. Then I would go to the beach thinking, I wish I was working. And it's the worst way to live. Wherever you are, be there. Be fully present. And remember, don't get addicted to the results. Get addicted to enjoying the journey and the process of your goals and of success, not just the result of it. If you only focus on results, you won't enjoy the journey. And there was a survey, it's all over online, the 5 regrets of people about to die. A caretaker was asking a lot of people that were on their deathbed what they would do differently. And there was 5 things that came up over and over again. One of them was, I wish I'd let myself be happier. And this is a very common one, they said. Many didn't realize until the end that happiness was a choice that you make. It doesn't take any more energy to be happy than it does to be sad. And you have to understand that some people are praying for the things that you take for granted, so stay grateful. It's impossible to be frustrated when you're grateful. It's impossible, okay? So keep that in mind. Number 3, make the tougher decisions wherever you can. If you make easy decisions, life gets extremely hard on you. If you make tough decisions, life becomes easier. Remember, life doesn't get easier, you just get better and make more intelligent decisions. And sometimes, in the moment, there's the tough decision and the comfortable and easy one. And if you keep making the comfortable and easy ones, you're gonna have regret. I was very lucky to have mentors when I was younger to help me understand. When I made a decision to leave college my senior year to start a business while everyone else was partying, drinking, relaxing, chasing girls, I made a decision that I wanted to sacrifice because I never wanted to work for somebody else. I was willing to work 80, 90 hours a week and work weekends to be able to put myself in a position where I didn't have to work and I could do what I wanted when I wanted on my terms. So make the tougher decision. That's also how you build confidence, is making the tough decision in the moment. If he would have made the tough decision not to drive and to get a taxi or to walk home or to sleep wherever he was sleeping, Doc would not have had the last 30 years of regret and he wouldn't have got his voice box shattered. I don't know exactly what caused Lenny Cook to go off the deep end and not make the NBA, but I'm sure he regrets that decision he made or the multiple decisions. So just think about the decisions you're making and try to make the tough decision wherever you can. Number 4, think things through, then follow through. You want to make as many decisions as you can with intelligence and not emotion. The more decisions you make based off emotion, the more regret you're going to have. So start analyzing, make intelligent decisions, not based off just emotion, and make as many decisions as you can that your future self will thank you for. Make as many decisions as you can that January 1st, 2018, 2019, you will look in the mirror and say, thank goodness I made those decisions. to start that business versus settle, to talk to that mentor, to pay for that course or that class when most people said not to quit that 9-to-5 that I couldn't stand to go pursue something that I knew I loved that was going to be harder but more rewarding. Okay, think about that. Next, stay away from toxic people who are okay with mediocrity and who settle too easy. I was just in my hometown. Nothing against my hometown. I love going to Oregon, but too many people settle. Too many people are okay with mediocrity. They're okay with never traveling, and they're okay with a mediocre life. They have no urgency. They move slow. They don't care that they're not living their potential. Get away from those people because it's subconscious. If you're around people that settle easily, you will settle easier, and it's something that you can't control. It's not something you can block. It's just subconscious based on your atmosphere and environment. So stop being around people who settle. There's nothing worse than settling, and I think the more you settle, the more you regret. Period. I'm getting passionate because I don't like seeing that, and I wish I could help everybody, but I can't. And sadly, the people that need the help the most won't take it. The people that need to watch this and listen to this the most won't listen to it. But I commend you for not being like the majority and leading the majority and listening to this to really understand the power of no regret. Number 6, travel, 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 travel. The more you travel, expand your awareness. I talked about on my last podcast my 5 favorite places to travel. I talked about some travel hacks and the best resources to make sure you have the best time possible and you maximize every experience. I think the ultimate combination in life is working on something meaningful that you care about that scales and maximizing memorable experiences. The more experiences you maximize, the more money you spend on experiences and the less money you spend on material things, the better. I have a lot of friends with Ferraris and Bentleys and Lamborghinis and Range Rovers and amazing cars. And I do have a nice car that I like, but I could be spending a lot more on cars. And sometimes if I'm around a lot of people that have a lot of nice things, I catch myself, should I buy more material? And I have to say, no, I know myself. I don't need material things to show people what I'm worth. I know what I'm worth deep down, and that's all that matters. And I want to stay genuine and world class. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to buy a Bentley, but if you're buying a Bentley to make up for insecurity or to show people something, I don't feel like that's needed. But travel a lot. The more you travel, the less you try to impress people, the more you'll impress yourself eventually, okay? Number 7, here's a big one. Take risks and drop the need to be liked and try and drop fearing people. The top regret from people about to die was I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not a life other people expected of me. Get away from others' expectations. This was the biggest regret of all, is when people realize their life was almost over, they look back and see how many dreams went unfulfilled, and most people didn't honor even half of their dreams, and they had to give up and pass away knowing that they had a lot more inside them to give, to create, to do, and become. And there's nothing worse than that. Okay, I'm telling you right now, there's nothing worse than regret. I want you now to take a second and just picture a kid, a young kid in the distance. Maybe he's 11 or 12. He's walking towards you. He's getting close and he steps out of the shadow. And you look closer, it's becoming more clear that this kid is you. It's a young you. It's a 12-year-old you. How vibrant were you when you were 12? A kid full of dreams, full of ambitions, full of no fear, full of ambition and adventure. What would you tell yourself if you were 12 or 13, knowing what you know now? I've done this and it gives me chills thinking about it. What would you tell your young self, knowing what you know now? You could only be 18. You could be 19. If you're 18 or 19, realize how lucky you are to be able to capitalize on this moment and live the most amazing and exceptional lifestyle. But you have to do these things I talk about. What would you tell yourself? My hope is that I've lowered any chances of regret. Now, all I ask is that you understand the importance and you make a promise to yourself that when you're 75, you're 80, you're 85, you can look yourself in the mirror and you could say, you know, I maximized this life. I did it my way. I have no regrets, and I left it all on the table. I gave my absolute best for myself, for my family, and for my legacy. And that's all you can ask. So let me know down below. Comment below what you feel like stood out to you in this podcast? What stood out? Did anything stand out to you that you're going to take action on to help you lower your regret? Is there anything you've done to lower your regret? Maybe share a story of the power of regret, but share your thoughts. Let's connect. I'll be in the comments conversing with you guys and responding. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I hope if I've just lowered one person's chance of regret, I've done my job. But please, please take this serious. We'll talk to you guys on the next episode. See ya. Hope you guys got some value. Once again, please take this seriously. I'm glad I got a chance to record this for you, but this is the real deal. There's nothing worse than regret. And with all these people out there with regret, it's a scary thing to think about being 50 and 60 and knowing that you wasted your life when you have so much potential as a human being. The things that we can do and create are amazing. They say you only use, 8 to 10% of your brain, and when you're stressed, you use 3%. Let's tap into that 20, 30%. And don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. Because when you know your worth, the whole world will too. All right, guys, appreciate you. Subscribe and make sure that you comment what you think. See ya.